Hello art students. Today we're going to do a flower picture that has geometric shapes and is inspired by Cubism. The artist we're going to look at for inspiration is Georges Braque, and we saw some pictures of his at the intro of this video. As you can see, there are very few organic shapes in this picture, only the circles. Organic means that it has movement, and then the geometric shapes are made of angles. You can see that each corner of color is made of the same colors, but we've alternated the angle from which the colors start to blend out from. And you can see that we've done that throughout on every piece. You can use a ruler for this exercise, or you can try and freehand your straight lines. It's up to you and whatever your teacher has available for art making or what your facilitator has brought to the classroom today. So let's go ahead and hop in. If you watch my videos, you know that almost all of our artwork starts out with a pre-sketched line that your teachers can download. But I always like to show you how to start the assignment out as if you didn't have that line, so you know how to do it at home. You can practice it and show other people how to do it. So the first thing that you would do, you can watch, do not follow along for this. The first thing that you would do is on your paper, you're going to draw a slightly curved line. So think about taking a smile and then bending it and making it look more like a smirk. You're going to do the same thing at the bottom, so you can decide how tall or short you want your vase to be. So you would do another curved line, and then you would just draw two straight lines. And then obviously I'm going to show you how to do the flowers, but everybody's paper should look like this to start out. I do want you to see how to draw that vase so that you can practice it at home and show other people how to do it. So if you look at these flowers, we have an odd number. It's always good to have an odd number of images in your art. We filled our paper. We've worked pretty big, right? Want you to understand that Cubism is a style of art that breaks down objects and figures into geometric shapes and shows them from multiple viewpoints. So you can see what this looks like. On the top of your paper, you're going to have your pencil, and I want you to try and put circles where I put circles. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but for composition purposes, which just means how everything lays out on your paper, we want to be a bit similar. So I'm going to draw a circle above my flower vase. I'm going to draw one to the right and one to the left. So we'll have 3 circles. Don't have to be perfect. And we know that we want for our shapes to be angled and geometric, not organic. So what you're going to do is when you draw each petal, you're going to draw 2 lines that kind of flare out. You can see that they're a little closer together as they touch the flower. And then the tip of your petals will be almost straight. You can angle them a little if you want, but remember we're trying to do Cubism, so really they should be mostly straight. And I'm going to work my way around and do this to each flower. It's good to allow things to extend off the paper, so if you want to let some petals go off, you absolutely can. That's a good thing. And remember, art is not about being perfect. Don't get caught up on it being perfect. If you are not following the directions. Just let loose. This is supposed to be about learning about art history, learning some basic drawing skills. You cannot learn and progress past a certain level if you get caught up on it being perfect. Art is not about being perfect. So right now we're just repeating those directions. I do want you to see my petals are pretty big. So if I order flowers for myself for Valentine's Day, I'm not ordering the small flowers, right? I want some nice big flowers. And then that makes it easy to color and paint as well. Remember, if you need for your instructor to stop the video, she or he are going to be walking around the room and assessing whether everybody's following along at the appropriate level, and if it needs to be paused, then they'll do so. And now what I want to do is add stems going into my flower pot. So I'm going to do a curve on the left, two straight ones in the middle, and another curve coming in. I drew two lines, so I want it to look a bit more three-dimensional. Often you'll hear people describing Cubism as being flat, so it doesn't have like a lot of three-dimensionality to it. The colors are flat, so not a lot of mixing of the colors like I normally encourage you to do. So keep that in mind. Now after you finish this, we want to do what's called a horizon line, and all that means is where the top meets the bottom. So I want this to look like the vase is sitting on the table, so I'm going to draw a horizon line that goes from one side. I'm going to skip the middle, not making a mark, and comes out on the other side. If you want, when we color these, you could do the top and bottom different colors. For my example, I decided just to do them the same. So I'll pull that back out and you can look. But again, I switched from different sides and had those colors originating from opposite corners. All right, so now you can try and freehand this, or you can get a ruler. You'll probably be more successful if you have a ruler to draw your lines. If you don't, you can freehand it. I'm going to start with the vase, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to draw one line going in one direction, and then I'm just going to go in and start drawing different shapes. So squares and rectangles, and then some shapes that just have straight edges that you're not sure what they make, and that's acceptable. And basically I want to do the same thing in the background. So you can start wherever you want. You're going to draw a line, and then you're going to just start coming off of that line. And we're doing straight lines and then breaking it down into different sections. None can be organic, so no waving lines. These are all straight lines. And I will divide the bottom up in the same manner. Now I wouldn't put a bazillion lines on here because you're going to have to outline and color all of them. When you get finished with that point, you are going to, sorry about that, go in and outline everything. I would use either a black crayon or a black Expo is mine of choice. And then I will outline everything else, and then we will go in and we will start to color. Take your time outlining. You can see how I kind of got out of the lines a little bit there. To problem solve, I just thickened that a little bit, and then I'll kind of thicken that line to hide it, but I'm not going to get upset. I can go in, and when I color, that will be an afterthought. It will not stand out. But you do want to take your time outlining. Art is also about craftsmanship, and it also is about listening skills. You have to be able to watch what other people do and listen to what they say and then apply that to your work. So while I'm outlining, you should be outlining, and this whole picture today is going to be colored with crayons. And again, you can see I'm taking my time. If I get a little out of a line, I'm not worried about it. After we finish outlining, you can take your eraser, and where you may have gotten out of the lines, you can go in and you can erase. Some people like to lay a ruler down when they go back over these lines to prevent that from happening. Completely up to you. So after you've got everything traced, we will start with the vase first today. Normally I like to start in the background, but we're going to start with the vase first. You know that's going to have water in it, and you know that that's going to reflect some of the colors from your flowers. So I would start out doing it with blue, and then you could add some of the colors that you're going to put in your flowers. Just remember that you want to not have the same colors setting next to one another, and that's going to be a little hard, but let me explain. So I'm going to have blue coming in this direction, so what I would do And I don't color all the way to the end because I'm going to have some other colors blending into that. But now when I do blue again, I'm going to go up here in the opposite direction. So you're wanting to try and make sure you're not coming from the same exact side every time. Okay, and for this one, I'm going to go in the opposite. So again, trying to make sure that you're not coloring directly next to the color that you just put down. And I'm going to do that all over. And then I'm going to pick another color, blue, that I like. And I will blend that in. That's a little too close. Let me see. There we go. And I'll blend that in. You can see I'm still leaving some room at the tips because whatever flower colors I choose, I want to add some of that into my blue. Alright, so let's go up and let's say that I want this one to be pink. I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Pick two colors. Have those colors coming in. And then I'll pick another color that I like and have them kind of blending into one another. And I want to, in some spots, have some of that reflecting, right? Because in the water, you're going to see some of that reflecting around. So you get the gist of what to do. And in the background, you want to pick some colors that are going to contrast. So by that I mean if I've got all of this blue going on in the center, I'm probably not going to want to put a whole lot of blue in the background. So keep that in mind. You want to pick some opposite colors. Since we were doing flowers, I kind of stuck with orange and brown because I thought that that would be an easy one to contrast. So you're going to do the same thing on your paper when you start. You're going to pick a color and put it down and then try and alternate and have these going in different directions. And they may end up having to kind of touch, but if you will stick with this theme, it will all come together. And like I said, you may want to do your table and your background different. It does not have to look just like mine. And I always try and make sure when I do these that I'm trying to choose different colors so that you can see different examples. And I can mix a little yellow in on those. So you can see how that's coming together. And again, here's the finished product. So your teacher may want to click on the example and leave it up so that you can look back and forth and see the color choices. You may want to borrow some of the ideas. I encourage you to choose your own colors. I cannot wait to see what your pictures look like. Remember, this unit or lesson rather is on Cubism and Georges Braque. We looked at some of his examples at the beginning, and we know that Cubism is a style of art that breaks down objects and figures into geometric shapes and shows them from multiple viewpoints. We know that Picasso, an artist that we recently studied, also did Cubism. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I will see you the next time. Have a wonderful and a blessed day.